we're all trying to, I think, benefit mankind, and if you don't have time to, to volunteer to work at soup kitchens or something like that, if you want to look to help, clinical trials are another way to do that.
By participating in a study at Rochester Clinical Research, you can gain access to potential new treatments and expert medical care. You can help advance medical knowledge and accelerate the discovery of therapies for us all. Our study participants are truly advancing medicine and changing lives.
Without the altruistic thinking behind the volunteers' motivation, we really can't get new medications approved in this country. We find that's the #1 reason why most people participate in a trial. Often people also have interest in learning more about their disease. They want to know more about how to manage their diabetes or their blood pressure. And we have the ability and the time to be able to give them information and advice about how to manage the different illnesses that they may be dealing with. So why to participate in a trial can vary for individuals, what the reason is. They may want the opportunity to try some new medications, they may want to help future generations, but they certainly are what we would call our everyday heroes, people who choose to participate.
One of the first things people ask when they're curious about participating in a research study is whether it's safe.
In our setting here, we generally predominantly do phase 2 and phase 3 FDA trials, which focus on compounds that already have a fair amount of safety and efficacy data associated with them.
I first checked with my doctor to find out if there was anything that would go wrong with it, or check with him, and he said yes, it would be fine to go through with it.
I mean, it's critical that the informed consent process be clear and that you understand what we're going to do in the trial, how long it's going to take, what other options are available for you, what risks might be associated with that particular study.
Looking at the informed consent and reading it over, yes, 14 pages or more can be daunting, but I looked at it as the more pages, the more well thought out the study was, and that's something you want to know, you want to read.
As to joining an experimental study, no, I never had any qualms about it. I just figured if it's anything that'll help me, I'm willing to try to do it.
Going on these studies is well worth it to any person. I mean, no matter what fear you have in your mind of the outcome and what they tell you the outcome will be, take the chance. Because if you don't take the chance, you're never going to be honestly relieving your own mind. You're never going to help the future of another person. You're never going to relieve the mind of your doctor.
It's very important to us at RCR that our volunteers feel like they're special, they're important to us and to our work, and we want them to be comfortable coming here, and we want it to be a positive experience for them.
Many people considering participation in studies wonder about the medical staff at Rochester Clinical Research and how closely we work with participants' own physicians during a study.
At Rochester Clinical Research, it's just like being in a traditional doctor's office where you would receive your primary medical care. There are all kinds of examination rooms like you would have at your regular physician's office, a lab where your blood is drawn and that kind of work is done. There's a nutrition counseling area. So yes, it very much mimics a visit to your regular physician.
When a patient joins or a volunteer joins a clinical trial, it's very important that we keep their primary physician in the loop in the process. We take over management of that particular disease under study for the purpose of the clinical trial, but at the beginning we always find it critical that each volunteer ask their primary care physician's permission to participate in the trial.
The physician that I was seeing agreed that this is something people need to get involved with. His feelings towards me was, I was the first step in the future of what can happen for the next 20, 30 years.
They take very good care of you here. So I probably had more EKGs and blood work and urine work than I ever would without it. So I know I'm healthy otherwise too.
For someone who had any doubts, I would reassure them that Rochester Clinical Research does share the results of any tests that you have to have with your physician. I did talk to my physician about my participation before I did agree to do this, and he was behind me 100%. And I'll say for this particular study, I benefited by having a lot of additional tests performed throughout the course of the study that are now part of my permanent records with my primary care physician. So my participation in the study actually further enhanced my health care and my relationship with my primary care physician.
A person might want to consider participation in a clinical trial because it's a way to gain access to cutting-edge treatments that will not be available for many years in the marketplace.
Whatever your reason for participating in a clinical trial, to get relief for yourself, to learn more about a disease, or to help others, just by participating, you're advancing medicine and changing lives.
Because you're really helping science, you're helping future generations, you're helping to discover new therapies and determine their effectiveness.
I personally would say Rochester Clinical Research was the best move I ever made in my life.